Okay, picking back up with number 8, it says, what is the value of the variable m so that the whole expression is equal to 1? So what does this have to be to make this fraction equal to 1? So this is a very simple answer. M has to be 0. Anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. Now, we can't always just jump to conclusions and just because we see a 0 exponent that the whole expression is 1. If we saw this, it would not be equal to 1. This would be equal to 2. Kind of like what we talked about in the first problem. This 2 is not being taken to the 0 power, only the x's. This is actually written 2 times x to the 0. So this part's 1, so my answer would be 2. To make something equal to 1, the entire expression has to be taken to the 0 power. So whatever it is, it doesn't just have to be 2x. It can be this 4x to the 6th power times y divided by 2 times x times y. It doesn't matter what it is. The entire expression is being taken to the 0 power. The entire expression has to be taken to the 0 power for it to be equal to 1. Where does the 0 power come from? So let's look at a very easy example right here. If I had x squared over x squared, that means x times x over x times x. X divided by x is 1. X divided by x is 1. So I think we're all in agreement here that this expression is equal to 1. But we've looked at, like in the example before this, that you can subtract. So if we have like x to the 5th over x to the 4th, that's x to the 1st, because we'd have 5 of them x's and then 4 x's, and then we'd cancel until we have nothing more to cancel, and we'd be left with 1. So we have that little rule that we can take our exponents and subtract them. 5 minus 4 is 1. What happens if we What happens if we subtract these? What's 2 minus 2? That's 0. But we've already done it this way and said it was 1. So that means that 0 power really means 1. Okay, this one's kind of tricky. So b squared means b times b, correct? Then b to the 4th means 1, 2, 3, 4. I eventually want to get 14. So this box is saying, how many of these groups of 4 do I need to get to 14? So I have these 2, that's there. That's there already. I know I have b to the 4th one time. I need to ask, how many times do I need to have b to the 4th to get 14? Well, let's check this out. Say I add one more. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not enough. I have 10, I need 14. Means I need 4 more. So how many groups of this 4 do I need to get 14 total? 3. Yeah, perfect. Now, there are a ton of things that I could write in this next section. Natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go forever. Whole numbers, same thing, but I get to start with 0. 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Forever. Integer, everything I just wrote, but also including the negatives. Now the directions say to not use the same number more than once. So you would just want to pick one of these. So natural number, I could say 3. Whole number, I could say 5. Integer, I could say -2. It says not to use the same number more than once. So you're just picking one. Rational number, I mean, I could go on forever. Any terminating decimal, positive or negative, any fraction, positive or negative. So again, it just wants you to pick one, a number you haven't used before. Irrational can be any square root that doesn't simplify completely. So like square root of 7, square root of 20. Not square root of 100 because that would just be 10. We don't want to do this because that's 10. That's not it. You could write pi. You could make up some crazy decimal, 1.327514. No pattern here, so that's irrational. Okay, 3 different versions of the same problem. This first one, that's equal to 4. This first one, that's equal to 24. This last one is also equal to 4. But who did it right? That's so funny. That's 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. That's 6. So only one of them can be right because they got different answers. This is distributive property. What these parentheses mean right here is that we are multiplying. So we have another way to do it. We can simplify the inside of the parentheses first and then multiply by 2. So 7 plus negative 5 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. That means Priya is correct. So let's see why. Priya got 14. She got that from 2 times 7. Then she had minus 10. She got that part from 2 times negative 5. It looks like Aaliyah kind of missed this negative right here, and she did 2 times 5 rather 2 times negative 5. So there's our issue. Cameron, he did 2 plus 7 is 9, and 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So Priya, we would say, is correct because she used distributive property correctly. She did 2 times 7 equals 14, and she did 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Distributive property means to multiply. Also, I did the problem a different way, so you could write about that too, that you simplify inside of the parentheses first. Okay, the next part says, does anybody make a mistake? And yes, we could say that Aaliyah missed the negative. And Cameron added. Okay. Simplify completely. So I have to use my order of operations, working with multiplying and dividing from left to right, adding and subtracting from left to right. So starting inside of my parentheses, I'm going to evaluate all of this from left to right. So negative 2 minus negative 3 means negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1, and 1 plus 5 is 6. I'm going to copy everything else down. Now I'm going to work with multiplying and dividing from left to right again. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Okay, we have absolute value here, which means I'm looking for a distance, and a distance is always positive. So after I evaluate using order of operations, I'm going to look at the distance to 0 on a number line. So negative 7 plus 3 minus